So, how we shall start. Just as we start any other session with a recap of the last one. So, recapping last session. Finally embarking onto the mysterious appearing and disappearing island, the group followed Belladonna as she trekked into the underbrush to show them the cave entrance. Once inside the cavern, they noticed it was not very large, and the one remnant of civilization that was here, the torch, was an ancient relic that disintegrated at touch. With nothing but shrubbery and debris in the first area, the group set about trying to find any other signs of inhabitants, eventually stumbling upon a chest buried in the dead leaves and bushes that line the walls and floors of these caves. This incredibly heavy chest was unlocked, and before more precautions could be taken, green smoke erupted from the chest after Saren took an item out, which then paralyzed him. With the rest of the group unable to alleviate his condition and failing at attempts to procure more items out of the chest, they abandoned it and investigated further, finding a locked trap door that brute force would not open. Pretty much giving up at this point, they took their paralyzed compatriot back to the rowboat and were prepping to head back towards the Tidebreaker as Kaporan cast Fly on himself and flew on ahead and talked with the skipper. Getting the skipper's interest, he sent a landing party, including the first mate with Kaporan, back to the island, as the rest of the group went back to the ship. With the landing party now assisting Kaporan, the chest's curse was removed and the contents emptied and divvied out. They then went to the trapdoor and saw that a key was needed, as well as there was heavy magical protection, and thought better as to not try and open it, and they all headed back to the Tidebreaker. After the first mate relayed his findings to the skipper, he was sent back to the island to retrieve the chest. He did so, and after he returned, he put the chest in the skipper's quarters, and the Tidebreaker sailed away from the island moments before it vanished once again. Before night could fall, they reached the port town of Jiriuth, and as the crew and group were parting ways, the skipper pulled Rashaw aside, gave him a brief overview of what he thought the island was, and handed over an item which he had found within the chest in case the group came across it once again in their travels. So that's where we resume. You guys, with Rashaw catching up to you all shortly after disembarking from the Tidebreaker into the dock from the port town. You guys have about roughly an hour before sundown. You have a horse and cart to possibly pick up or pay for. And though some questions answered, some newer questions for certain members of the group remain. Nevertheless, the town of Jiriuth stands before you, and the rest of the night is yours.
I was just going to say, Racha is pulling out his map of the islands that we have and just sort of marking a small X off on the northernmost one was the one we stopped at, right? That was the big island.
Yes.
So then, yeah, he'll just mark that one off and then look at the other three longingly.
Bryn, could you help me with these as Kaporn's dragging the teeth? Or dragging one tooth?
She'll just take it from you with no words.
Thank you, Bryn.
Has Saren ever been to this town?
This town specifically, no. You
Oh.
know of it because of its stature in, as far as elven naval prowess goes, but you've never actually been to this town.
And what's the name of the town?
Jiriuth?
Okay. Well, since I've never been here and I don't have any money, I'm probably just gonna follow Bryn and Kaporan around.
We have a tail.
Did you want to come with us, Sam?
I'm not like stalking you from afar. I'm like just right behind you guys.
Yeah, but we've never really had the conversation of, are you coming with us? And technically, we have no idea where we're going.
I mean, I kind of assumed during the 4 days where you guys dragged me off of the ship, our characters would have had that conversation since I wasn't here.
That's true.
But at this point, Kaporin, with Saren and Bryn in tow, would want to go check on the cart and horses, so he'll run towards the end of the dock.
Yeah, Nori would be there with you.
I guess the question is, do we go tonight or wait until the morning?
I think it'd be best for us to probably stay the night, have the horses taken care of for one more day, and leave fresh in the morning. Best not to travel at night.
Makes sense. And we'll start walking towards the horses, at least to check on them first.
Okay. Going to where Bryn and Nori had originally left the horse and carriage. Once getting there, you see an individual that you didn't have direct contact with when you dropped everything off and paid for your amount of time, but he was like overseeing. He probably either the proprietor or the overall owner of this location, but you dealt with another elf during this time. But as he sees you guys approach, he comes up and kind of pushes his way from the more shadowed areas of the little stable and side building next to it. A shorter than average elven man, but he's got the pure elf features of the long years, the extended fingers, and just overall exaggerated features that the pure high elves do. He's wearing nice robes, and you can tell he's out of place. But the way that the robes are situated and worn, he considers himself proper. He probably comes from some pure elven blood, but has possibly fallen on hard times, hence why this is his establishment, or he might be some wealthy family and he's getting stuck with this business of the family. Either way, he carries himself a bit more proper than the job that he has. He comes over. Oh, yes. I was wondering when you all would show. I was getting terribly worried that something awful had happened to you and we'd have to find new homes for your steed and your carriage. But it's wonderful that you're all here and all looking healthy and extras individuals. Glad to see a little bit of true pride among your ranks this time. He kind of just nods at Saren.
Nori gives a very wink.
By the way, this is all in Sylvan, so only was it Nori and Saren understand him?
I believe so.
Yeah, Saren, you know Sylvan, right?
Belladonna's out right now.
Yeah, I do. Give me 1 second. Dealing with some thing.
Okay, so he does. All right. So he kind of gives Saren a nod. He probably nods back. But you were here a little bit longer than, you originally had paid for. Luckily, we didn't do anything with your steed or carriage. It's still here, and you can retrieve any said items if you'd like tonight. There'll just be an extra little cost for the extra days that we held on to everything for you.
How much?
Oh, well, unexpected layover and extra time. That's going to be 5 trillium a night. You guys were gone for an extra 3.5 days. So we're looking at about uh, 18 trillium.
Relay this to Bryn. All right.
Sorry. Did we want to take the horse now or pay for an extra day and get it tomorrow morning after?
Are we able to do that? I guess it's best to ask first.
Oh, yes, we can hold on to these things for you, but we are running a bit tight on space. So if you are wanting to keep your steed and carriage here with us, then tomorrow morning when you come to pick it all up, it's going to be 22 trillion.
Again, I relay this, kind of mildly annoyed.
Yeah, because he responds when you guys speak common between each other.
If I needed to be a part of that conversation, I'm back now.
No, not really.
I think it's best if we leave it with them. If Bryn, if you need help, or I know you don't need help, but I'll be happy to pay for half of it.
It's fine. Let's leave the horse here now in the comfort.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, then we shall see you all tomorrow, bright and early. What time do you think you'd roughly be around to pick up your steed and carriage?
Time do we think we're going to pick it up?
Probably around 8 or 9. Early in the morning, I would say.
He can understand carriages.
Wonderful, then. Early morning pickup shall be arranged. It's a pleasure doing business with you all, and see you tomorrow. He walks arrogantly back into the shadows of the building structure and takes his seat once again, not paying any of you any mind.
Did we want to ask him for... Did we stay a night in this town before? I don't remember.
I think we slept in a tent outside the outskirts.
Do we want to...
I'm not sure about that one.
I could be lying. I don't remember. I don't remember when or how long we were in the town before we found
I'm looking it up right now.
Skipper.
Continue talking.
Oh, how do you spell the town's name right now? By the way.
It is Geryuth. Geryuth.
It is now written in my notes as Stupid High Elf Port Town.
No, I don't think we stayed a night here. We've found...
You guys left
Quickly.
because you'd sent Belladonna in hawk form above the town and impacted the barrier, and you guys were then being looked for.
Right. So we kind of skedaddled quickly out of town.
Yeah, you guys had lunch. That's where you heard the singing story.
We got our dirty novel and our books.
You got your books, yes. And then Racha was able to get passage onto a boat. So no, you did not stay in any towns. Or in any inns here.
And you said we have an hour before sundown, Val?
Yes. After talking, yeah, roughly an hour.
Kaporan wants to go try and find someone to sell these I don't even know what to keep calling them. Teeth, fangs too. So he'll probably be looking around town for someone to sell these off to.
All right. Where specifically are you going to be looking?
I remember there being like a lot of shops in a certain district. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, the way that this town is set up, and you guys had you had done a case with Belladonna the Hawk, so you get a kind of an idea of what's going on. There's the naval portion, which is closer to the docks and off to the left. If you're looking at the town, off to the northwest of the town, up against the water. The army's encampment is situated to the southeast of the town, in their own separate corner. And throughout the middle is a bunch of shops and homes.
Probably be looking near towards the center, towards all the shops and homes. And if I didn't have any luck there, I'd head towards the naval side, assuming that they might have some traded goods or people who'd buy traded goods.
So, remember, these fangs are large, can't be stored away in a backpack or anything like that. So, you have Bryn carrying one for you, basically. You have the other one out of nowhere.
Other two parts of the, I'll probably end up carrying one half or something.
So, you guys are lugging these things out throughout the town. And though it's definitely plausible and able for you to do, going from shop to shop, you being a half-elf with a human, supposedly, carrying the other portion of your finds, even with Nori or even with Saren, being the intermediary, it would be very difficult for someone to find and or even need these items specifically.
Got it.
Or this is High Elf Town, unless it's a specific item used for wizard craft in some form or another. They're probably not going to need it in the sense of, like, oh, I can just pawn these off on the general store. It's like, what the fuck is the general store going to do with these?
I had a feeling that this would be that fucking
Yeah.
high elf town.
They're, well, if you're in the Storm Dance lands, I mean, they're all High Elf towns.
I've had the most trouble with this town.
Well, this is also the Naval Armada headquarters. You're basically on a naval base.
And I don't want to metagame either, so I guess we'll just at some point Kaporan will just give up and probably find a place to settle down.
So the problem with these specifically is that they're fangs, so they're not ivory, so they can't be used like ivory. So it's lower for most people. It's going to lower the value down drastically. They're not, and especially with it being hollow, it doesn't means that they can't carve large chunks out of it and use it for certain things like that. So it's kind of in a weird mid place that only someone who knows what they're doing with it and what to do with it would really find it useful. Go ahead, Saren.
While we're looking around, since I'm high elf, is there anywhere that Saren would be able to think of that might buy the snake scales?
Go ahead and give me a history check. Thinking on it, especially with this town being the naval and the army little position and the different shops in the town, you might be able to pawn it off at an apothecary if they've got a proprietor that is interested in the unusual and trying to make things work. But that's about it. You're not a giant snake expert.
Yeah, I figured. Did we find a place to stay for the night yet?
Negative.
Okay. I'm gonna ask. I don't want to get lost without the group, so Saren's gonna ask Bryn and Kaporin to meet him wherever they are right now in an hour, and then he's going to go look for the apothecary.
Kaporin's tired of walking around with these giant fangs, so that's possible.
Well, since you know the language, it's easy enough to find the signs that end up pointing you to an apothecary.
Okay. I'll walk inside.
Okay. Going inside, it's a very nice setup, nice arrangement, beautiful glass shelves. The overall interior decoration in here is like a very soft wood with seemingly vines growing from the top of the ceiling and coming down. But as you pass through them, they're just illusionary to make the overall ambiance a little bit more calmer. Very holistic looking elven woman with vines braided into her hair sits behind the counter. She's got just blanket white hair, though she looks probably to be not too much older than you. And though a lot of people in this town have very exaggerated features for the purity of their elven bloodline, she's got a little bit more muted features compared to the rest. Still a little bit more than you. And she's got her hair up in like a high pony, and then the vines kind of like interweave and circumvents her hair as it comes down, and it comes on either side of her shoulders over her chest. She's wearing nice like lilac colored robes, and she's kind of standing there as she's got this small little plants on the desk in front of her, and as she moves her hand left and right, the plant sways and like almost like a snake in a snake charmer kind of follows her hand as she's kind of just playing in the air. She hears you enter. Oh, welcome. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Of course, I actually do have a query for you. I know this is perhaps a bit unusual, but I came across this creature in my travels, and I'll start pulling out the scales.
Oh, and it looks like you've killed it.
It was indeed slain, but I was
She just like quietly just like puts her hand over the scales, closes her eyes, kind of takes a shuddering breath in, and kind of like puts the hand that she was holding over the scales like up to her mouth and kind of like does a small little kiss and blows into the wind.
That doesn't bode well. I came here wondering if you perhaps think you could find a use for such an item.
The carcass of this dead creature? The discarded remnants of a once beautiful beast? I unfortunately do not facilitate such cruelty as to find a beast in the wild just to kill it and use its pieces for monetary gain.
I'm just gonna put the scales away.
You might have your luck in one of the nomadic tribes that are low or running out of some leathers or something, but I have no need of those things here.
Well, I apologize for disturbing you, and thank you for the advice. And I'm just gonna walk out.
as you leave, the illusion of the vines kind of all like separate away from you as you walk past, kind of like just giving you a wide berth. And then as you leave the door seems to slam a little bit harder behind you. You kind of like peek over your shoulder, and the vines have returned back to their normal illusionary spot.
I'll head back to where I left Kaporin and Bryn.
So not but about 5 to 10 minutes later, Saren returns to you.
Any luck, Theron?
Not tonight.
Well, it seems that we both struck out this time. Maybe it's best we find some shelter for the night then.
I agree. That'd definitely be prudent. What time of night is it?
It's just before sunset.
I guess we'll start trying to lead them to a sign that says inn or tavern.
All right.
I just thought about something. Where are the other two in all of this?
Quietly following behind, unless they wanted to do something else.
No, not really. Nori doesn't like this town, so she hasn't been doing anything.
Racha would have probably snuck off to and probably left the city just slightly and opened up the bag and like emptied it just to see what was inside it.
How are you emptying it?
The whole flipping it inside and out thing.
All right.
Oh God.
But that's why I was leaving the town and giving you plenty of space and all that sort of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, so in the bag, pull up my notes.
I mean, there's no other way to know what's inside it.
True that, true that.
I'm just imagining a Mary Poppins kind of thing. It just keeps pulling out random crud.
In the bag, there is... Oh crap, I realized I didn't put this in the same spot as everything else. 1 second. Gotta go to my whiteboard.
All I know is it's supposed to fit within a 4-foot cube and not be more than 500 pounds.
Yep.
Did we want to have me stealth away? I rolled anyways.
If you wanted to stealth away from the group to do this, then you can. But Nori's easier.
Yeah, Nori watches me do it.
She's just so pissed off about the high elf, she doesn't care.
You know what? Let's go with that because I don't want to. I don't want to stop Racha. I want to see where this goes. So I was just like, you know what? I respect you wanting to leave.
Okay, there is a staff inside of some sort. There is a short bow inside. About 32 arrows. There's a bedroll. There's 5 rations. Hold on, this list is getting mixed up. What did I say so far?
Staff, 5 rations, a bedroll.
Short bow.
So yeah, I've got a staff, a short bow, 32 arrows, a bedroll, and 5 rations.
Okay, that's that, and that. There's a small wooden box. There is 41 trillium. There is a potion of healing and a small glass vial of some sort of brown liquid.
Awesome. And then what was the trillium amount again?
47?
Cool. That trillium goes into the other bag that I have, and then I'll just sort of gather all of that back up and put it in, and then I'll message you what I'm gonna be putting in it with from my other stuff.
All right. Oh,
But
there's one more thing, but I'll message you what that is.
Gotcha. And then I'll put all that I'll put it all back in and head back into town and back to where Saren said they would be meeting up.
As you do that and you start walking back in, you see one guard who's kind of just looking at you with like a little bit of bewilderment. And you get the idea that he probably followed you out to see what you were up to. Saw you just like unload a shit ton of stuff in a random direction and was like, okay. And then made his way back to his post.
I'll just wave gleefully at him as he walks away.
Because from his position, all he saw was you turn around and then just a bunch of stuff just like appear in like a 20-foot radius around you.
Sounds like Skyrim.
Essentially, yeah.
Attacked the loot goblin. Alright, so you want to stealth back in, or are you just going to walk back in?
No, I'm just gonna walk back in. I was stealthing out to avoid them following me.
Okay, so as you guys are all sitting there, just a minute or two after Saren rejoins the group, Rachaw follows.
I feel like I can't even be surprised at this point that he's come back at some point.
I feel like Kaboran just doesn't even pay attention when Rochaz disappears, and he's just like, "Oh, you're back. Okay."
Well, I suppose we should find a place to stay unless we want to collect our horse and carriage.
Well, I believe we did already have this conversation.
Yes, as far as a tavern or inn goes, there are two different places in this town. The inn you end up finding is called the Sweet and Sour Whisper Inn.
Disembodied voices.
Possibly.
I want that one.
It's the only inn available to the public.
I'll lead the group inside.
As you approach, you see nice gold filigree encompassing the hard, like oak wooden door that is got a nice shiny golden knob on the front end of its wrought iron handrails kind of stretch and are twisted along the little four stairs that lead up to this door, and at the end of the wrought iron there's one's a lion's head and the other one is a dragon's head. On the door itself, it has the words Sweet and Sour Whisper in Sylvan. And in there, there's touches of gold-flecked paint that kind of spruce up the word, making it shine in certain areas. You open the door, and just as much regalia greets you that you think this place would have from the outside meets you on the inside. Ornate couches with not only just the expensive looking wood and leather wrappings over the cushions, but also extra leather rugs and throws grace each side, pillows embroidered with shining elements, either being some sort of metallic paints or inks, or possibly small bits of gold fleck inside as well. You go up to the front desk, which is off to the left as you enter the door in here. And as you enter, there's this small illusion playing over the top of the entryway. Two pixies, but illusionary, kind of sit there, hovering in midair above your heads, constantly showering you with these golden, ethereal flakes that kind of almost like a misting place at one of the amusement parks that you go to. But they never fully make contact with you because it's illusionary based. They see that you're new individuals, and the illusory pixies kind of guide you with their pixie dust and over to the counter. And the counter itself is a monstrosity of some sort of skeletal structure of like a wyvern, so some very smaller dragon, but kind of situated in a way where its upper back, it's like sitting on its hind legs, and its wings are outspread, and its head is down, so the actual countertop is like its upper neck and back area. But it's just a skeletal structure, and in between the skeleton is this clear sort of material that's hardened, kind of like a see-through resin. And over the top, in the face of this wyvern, where the eyes sit, there seems to be two rubies inlaid, and the teeth of the wyvern seem to be plated in some sort of silver or trillium or platinum of some sort. A very luxurious-looking elven man sits behind the counter, and as you all have entered and the pixies have turned your direction towards the counter, he stands up, wearing golden robes with maroon tints here and there. He stands up, his hair color matching that of his robes, but his hair runs long, disappearing somewhere amongst the floor. He stands up, and since Saren was the first one in, he's got a large smile on his face. Welcome to the Sweet and Sour Whisper Inn. Excuse me, young child. Are those with you? And he kind of gestures to the rest of the group, talking to you, Sarah.
Does anyone else in the group speak Sylvan?
Nori.
Yep.
Nori.
Belladonna's with me, but I don't. But she, yeah. Kaporn's already upset at this point.
I'm gonna lean in close and kind of whisper to him. Regretfully so, I've been tasked by some acquaintances to keep them out of trouble while they're in town.
Do a perception check to see if I hear this.
Sure.
I give you a 4.
He gave you his shitty portent roll.
What's 4 plus 7?
11.
Still terrible.
Quite. All right. Well, if you don't mind, if you do happen to stay at the Sweet and Sour Whisper Inn, possibly use the side entrance for your compatriots?
Nori looks at this guy and goes, "No thanks," in Sylvan, and then just walks out. She doesn't want to deal with this.
I'll give Nori like the spot that she kind of left through a little bit of a dirty look, and I'll say to the innkeeper,
It's possibly for the best.
yes, for any possible future entrances, which hopefully there won't be any. I'll make sure to corral them through the side entrance.
Wonderful. Have a as best a day as you can with the undesirables.
Of course, but as the reason we're here, I've personally never stayed in your inn. What would be the price for your rooms for my companions over here?
Oh, well, for individuals such as them, I would only be able to allow you possible um, ex-servant quarters, which would facilitate the majority of them, and that would only be a partial 20 trillium a night.
I'll give him like a conspiracy. What's the right word? Like a conspiring look, and say, I believe that would suit them just fine. And
Yes, it would have to.
I'll go speak to Bryn in common and relay the price of the room.
He wants. Did you tell her about this? Like, it's a servant quarter too, or what's the price?
No.
He wants 20 trillium per night.
Well, it is it's currently the only option available. So it's either this or sleep outside.
I mean, to be completely honest, I'm far more comfortable in a tent than this kind of place.
Kaporan will pick up. I would rather sleep on the ground than in here, and walks out the door.
Like I said, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, I'll turn around and Sylvan and say in Sylvan to the barkeep. Um, yes, I apologize for dirtying your doorstep with these, but they did insist at first for sleeping in an inn, and then I'll
I
corral the rest of them outside.
understand, and honestly, young posh one, you should not dirty your tongue speaking the language of. I mean, it's a reason why it's called common, but I hope you and bid you farewell and the best of luck.
I'll repeat much the same to him, or at least the farewell, and then corral the rest from outside.
All right. You guys get kind of hurriedly shoved by Saren outside, as you guys were kind of already on the way out after hearing the price, and resume your location outside the front doorstep of the Sweet and Sour Whisper Inn.
I absolutely refuse. I hate it here.
I second to that, Nori, and as I've been saying the first time we were here, I hate these people.
Sucks that I'm half this.
I'll be giving Nori and Kaporan their deluxe, given that I am high health, and then I'm gonna offer Bryn and Racha only to sleep in the comfortable tiny hut that I can form outside of town.
I didn't say I didn't say high elves murder. I was just like, this town has pissed me off for much too long.
Nori was the only
Yep.
one who vehemently went about her hatred of high elves.
Yet this town is filled with my people. I would perhaps be more careful with the way you insult them. And I'll lead I don't know if they're following Bryn and Rachel to wherever outside probably.
Yeah, I figured we're all gonna go as a group, even if he's not gonna let Nori and Kaporin into his little hut thing.
Fine by
All right.
the board.
Nori, go ahead and actually we'll use your passive perception because you're upset. All right. You don't see it. As you guys are all walking, it's in between steps that all of you hear. Actually, go ahead and situate yourselves in the way that you all would be walking.
Which way you want up? You want like the same way we're walking in the picture?
Exactly.
I suppose I'd be in front. I'm leading everyone.
Kaporin would be walking next to Nori.
Racha, are you like way off in the distance?
I'm behind them, but yeah, I'll leave some space between.
Okay. So, as the group of you with Racha kind of dragging behind and kind of keeping an overall eye on the group, but allowing enough space for people to walk and cross through if need be. It's mid-step, and you all hear it. Racha, you catching it just at the very end of everything happening because someone cuts in front of you at the exact same time. So you hear it but don't see it. Kaporin, you catch it just out of the corner of your eye, and Nori, you don't realize it until it's already too late because you're mid-step and walking forward. But this almost cut in the air appears directly in front of you, Nori. Exactly your height, exactly your shape as you're walking. And you can't stop yourself. And you step into it. As soon as you do, you guys, first off, you heard the and then Nori steps through it, and then you hear and she's gone.
Absolutely fuck me.
Kaporin like turns to the right. Where the hell did she go?
Does
And
Theron reckon? Oh, sorry. Go
We
ahead.
will be right back. Nori.
Yay.
As this happens and you feel yourself go through this passage in front of you and then it closes behind you, you feel a tug on the center of your chest, a large movement as through this dark empty space that you're moving through, you're moving quickly and you're getting like shunted left right left right left right right left 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 right, and then you take a sharp turn and things are passing by you in the darkness but you're not sure what they are until all of a sudden you take another turn and a light is shining up ahead and you're catapulting towards it, and then you snap and you kind of catch yourself taking like another 3 steps to slow yourself down, and then a hand catches you on the shoulder. The sounds of the town around you are still going on. There's still the seagulls chirping and the water crashing against the docks, people walking around. You haven't gone too far, you're in the same town. You kind of catch yourself or get caught by this individual who stands taller than you, and his hand is caught up against your shoulder, and you're kind of like looking down now, and all you can see on the back of the hand is these large still healing cuts and scrapes all over the back of the hands, and it looks like they travel into the palm of the hand as well. And you don't recognize it, but then it does kind of look familiar. Well, sister, I thought you would be a little bit more spry on your feet.
You're all. I turn towards him, just like big eyes.
You turn towards him, and he's got a cloak on with the hood up. Underneath the hood, you can see a large scar and gash still healing across the left side of his face and across his eye. And his eye is swollen shut at the moment. And everything's
Mechanically,
healing.
would
Go ahead.
that mean that mechanically would that mean that he is below his max hit points?
They're healing enough to where it's been a while. So enough for him to heal as much as he could. It's more his body just needs to go through the healing process. Because, I mean, even for you guys, even if you heal and take a long rest and get to max HP, there's still bruises, there's still cuts, and, you know, everything takes a while to actually heal.
I'm gonna cast a 3rd level Cure Wounds on him.
He sees you kind of doing everything and, like, grips your shoulder a little bit more. Sister, these are wounds that are not easily repairable. Please don't waste your energy on trifling matters such as these. And you realize that not only is the face gashed, and those wounds still healing, but he seems unable to move half of his body, at least his left arm.
I heard something bad happen. I didn't.
So, things happen, sister. Things happen. It's not anything that we can worry ourselves about, but just continue moving forward. I'm still alive, and, well, that makes all the difference.
Nori has suddenly just. She's made a decision to focus on her druidic abilities just so she can get better at healing. What the hell happened?
I'll spare you the details and just tell you that Father got upset.
I figured as much. I talked to someone, and they said that you were driven out of the city and you got hurt.
Well, you've got some very reliable sources. But yes, I'm no longer part of the guard, that's for sure.
I didn't expect you to. Where have you been? How did I just? I don't know what's happening. I'm so sorry, Arix.
I've been around, been trying to keep as much of a low profile as I possibly can, and trying to find out if anything had happened to you or your compatriots, and tracked you guys to here, and, well, I heard you on a ship. Thought possibly you all would return to this port town, and I was right. Nori, you need to leave. You need to get out of these lands as quickly as possible before any of this happens to you. Father knows you're back.
Damn it. Okay. So he. Fuck him. So, what about you? What are you going to do?
I've got enough wits about me and enough friends in different places. I can stay low for as long as I need and get myself out of here. I just needed to make sure that I got the message to you to make sure that you got out as quickly as possible.
Where do I go?
Anywhere. Get out of the Storm Dance lands. Father does not have power beyond.
Okay, will I ever see you again?
Of course. We're family. You can't get rid of me that easily.
Nori smiles for the first time the entire conversation and just goes, "Can I help in any way besides getting out of here?"
If you get out of here, then I will have a calmer sense of self, and if I need to do a little bit more brazen things, I know that I don't need to worry about you getting caught up in it.
Okay. I can do that.
Your
Alright.
friends stick out, so you might want to get them all out of here.
I hate these people.
Don't worry, I'm sure the majority of them hate you too. Just the sight of a half-elf does kind of quotations, but only with one hand, because the other one can like only go up to like his waist, is enough to drive some of these individuals mad. And once I heard there were a couple half-elves parading themselves around Jerry Youth, I knew exactly who it was. Seriously, talking to Army and Navy drunken individuals, it's not the brightest plan in a place where you're not the most welcome.
I would have to agree.
But I know Father's reach extends to Jerry Youth. Fortunately, though, he's not gotten along with some of the naval captains. So there's a contingent that denies his reach out here, but at least, well, it's only a matter of time.
Alright. Well, when we meet again, I hope it's under better pretenses.
Quite. What do you think of my new trick, by the way?
It was startling, but it was very cool. What was it?
I call it an abyssal passage. Slightly taking you, though you're still in the same context of the city and or wherever you're at, it's basically like a quick step from one point to another. And the best thing about it is if you can spring it on someone who's not quite expecting it, they have no way to stop themselves.
I've been a little frustrated, so I'm glad you're alive. If not, okay.
That makes two of us. And Nori, I love you, so please keep yourself safe for a little bit longer.
And I love you. Stay safe. Be quick, be quiet, be safe.
He kind of taps his nose a little bit, does a quick movement with his good hands. You hear a and he kind of just puts his forehead against your forehead, gives you a small kiss on the forehead, and then pushes you back through the passage.
I kind of reach out to him a little bit, but then drop my hand and submit willingly.
As you guys kind of sit there bewildered at where Nori had disappeared off to, you guys hear another through the air, and you all whip around just as you hear another as Nori kind of, now somewhat expecting what to do, kind of sticks the landing and stands there before you, red in the face to a degree, but more anger than anything.
Nori absolutely is crying a little bit, and she just goes, "We need to go. Or at least I need to go. If you guys can stay here, but I need to leave."
Let's go get the horse then.
And I'll explain it. Just, we need to go
She's
now.
gonna. You don't need to explain anything yet. If you're telling us we need to leave, let's get the horse and go.
Just grab
Out of
Nori
this-
by the arm.
We need to get out of here.
All right, Nori, well, right this way. And Kaporin will grab her by the arm and start rushing towards the docks where we left the horse.
All right, you guys quickly maneuver your way through the rest of the town, getting to the dock. The same elegant elf kind of quickly steps out. And what's
We need to leave. Can we get our horse, please?
she kind of
Because she knows he understands.
he kind of looks at you like snarls a cheek up a little bit and just snaps his
Knowing now,
fingers.
just give us the damn horse, please.
I'll hand over Platinum to him.
Ah, okay. Speak my language. He's speaking in common now. All right. He snaps his fingers twice. Smaller, younger elven man sticks his head out. The steed in the carriage. Let's go. Kind of bewildered that he's speaking common to him. He kind of nods and runs about. Well, I appreciate you for using our services. If need be in the future, please come to us. And I hope you have a wonderful day. As the horse and carriage are getting pulled from two different ends of one from the building and the horse from the stables, but they link them up to you quickly, and within about a minute and a half, you guys are set up and ready to go.
All right. Where are we going, Nori?
I specifically need to get out of here, and if you guys, okay, mentally to Bryn, I go, this has something to do with Arx's father. I am in danger, and that if I'm in danger, Arx is in danger, and you guys can come with me or not, but I need to leave. I just need to get out of the Storm Dance lands.
I'm with you. Let's go. I guess we'll mentally again.
Kaporan already noticing that she was stuttering, and it's like, Nori, we're with you 100%. We're not going anywhere, but we should better get going. And as holds her saddle, kind of ready.
We're ready to go. Now become a horse. All right, Nori wild shapes into a horse. As she does so, you all see a contingent of army guards coming down one of the drawbridges, the main one, and one of them points in your guys' direction.
Absolutely fuck me.
It seems that possibly one of the things that is known to be you is a wild shaper.
Do I know if wild shaping is
Yeah.
it's illegal?
No, it's not illegal.
It's just it's the one of Nori's characteristics is that she wild shapes a lot.
Made a mistake.
But I wouldn't know that there's anything that
No,
they'd
you just
be running. So
yeah, they haven't told you anything.
What is the layout of the docks? There was two gates, or two drawbridges, correct?
There's 3 drawbridges altogether. 2 of them are pulled up pretty much 24/7. Racha was able to get one down the last time he was through here. But that was because he was bringing the carts and had already gotten permission with Skipper Ladash.
So now the only drawbridge down is the ones they're coming through.
They just came across. There is a contingency of about 9 of them, with one of they had 2 columns of 4 with the one guy who had already been on the dock and was looking around, saw the wild shape as the 8 other came across and pointed them out. And so they are currently running in your direction, which is roughly about 200 feet away at this point. You guys are all the way down the dock up against the end, because that's where this stable and building, this warehouse for keeping things, is situated. So you guys are pretty much stuck up against a wall, the water, another wall, and the rest of the dock in front of you.
Kaporan would pull Saren onto the front of the carriage and tell Bryn and Rachel to hop on and take the harness, or take the reins in his hands.
As you do this, you see the elven army individual in the front do a quick movement with his hands, rises up into the air about 10 feet to allow the 8 other underneath him, and then a booming voice comes out from him. He says, "Stay where you are! If you do not resist, you will not be harmed. We are just here for the Renferin."
He's floating up in the air right now.
Yep.
tried to
200-ish
pull me?
feet away.
Earthbind.
What's the range on that?
Wait, who tried to pull me onto the carriage?
Yeah, I pulled you onto the front seat of the carriage.
I resist.
Okay.
So I see my friends are in danger, and I'm like, you know what? No. So what am I gonna do here? Fuck.
What's the distance on Earthbind?
300 feet.
Okay, so you are attacking the army guard.
Yeah, baby, don't do that.
It's too late. Strength save. That is a 20.
Oh, really? Damn.
Nat 18 with a +2. So, yellow strips of energy leap out and try and encircle the army captain as Kapoor has his hand out. With this, 4 of the army individuals stop where they're at, and the booming voice echoes to you, "You have made your choice!" And arrows are flying.
And I'm running.
One moment, arrows are in the air.
I'm sorry. Would it have made a strength save for me to resist Kaporan's pull?
No, I was getting the idea that Kaporin, the way he said it, if you resisted, he wasn't going to try and, like, manhandle you on. It was more of like a tugging at your shirts, and if you didn't come, then fuck you.
Kaporin's in a rush, and he knows that time is the essence to get out of this place.
Alright, so Nori in horse form. That is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. Kaporin, you're on the front. That's a nat 20. Saren, you're in the front.
I'm not on the carriage.
You're in the front. You are with them now. They have they're just attacking because they were attacked.
Yeah, it's a volley, and you could argue maybe for like half cover since you're on the side of the carriage, but
He's
What-
not
what
behind.
did they-
If he was behind it, then definitely. But he's
What was
just,
the roll again?
The roll's 20, not
Oh,
natural,
yeah.
but regular. So Nori, Kaporin, Saren. I guess probably Bryn's on the back. Racha, you're probably on top.
yeah, I'd be on the roof.
Okay, that's
I would have stopped as soon as that the captain said stop. I wouldn't have hit or anything, but I wouldn't have been aggressive towards them, but I would have stopped where I was. So I probably wasn't inside.
Racha. That's a 14 to hit.
Does not hit.
Okay. All right. So first one at Nori. That is 8 points of piercing.
All right.
Kaporin, yours was the nat, so that is 14 points of piercing.
Got it.
Saren, that is 7 points of piercing, and Racha's miss, so that's fine.
You said 7?
Yes. So, the arrows whiz out through the air, catching 3 of you as Racha. You kind of duck behind your homemade little picnic bench up there, as it just into the wood. And if everyone wants to do something, this is the time.
I am
Yes,
running.
sir. Go ahead.
I just said I'm running.
All right, where are you? You're just running straight forward?
Just getting out of the city as fast as possible.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, don't think I have the available map I need for this one, so
Did we harness her up to the cart already, or is she just running by herself?
I thought I was harnessed.
They saw you during the wild shape, so I'd say you were quick enough to get her harnessed because she probably would have wild shaped in the harness.
Yeah.
So that's currently, and you guys are heading in this direction because it's the only way you can go, which is also the direction of the soldiers. So you take off. The other horse is going to follow you, as it just thought it got attacked as well. So it's like, fuck this, and you guys are both out.
Yeah, full dash as fast as possible.
Racha is going to cast a minor illusion of a shroud in front of us, between us and the guards, to sort of like just basically make a wall of black between the two of us as wide as I can, which would be
Is it 5 foot?
I think it's a 5-foot cube. Yeah.
Okay, angling it kind of just basically where their heads are at to kind of help give a block. I would say that probably gives you guys about half cover for the archers.
Since it's a 5-foot cube, could I like flatten it to be like a foot thick and then taller?
It doesn't really work like that, but I'd say you can get it a little bit bigger. It still would offer pretty much this. I mean, the half cover is they're basically completely blind to you, but they know which direction you guys are coming from, so it's not like it's...
Yeah, no, I was hoping more for like a bull riding thing, or not a bull riding thing, a bull matador thing.
Yeah.
Where we're about to plow straight through them and they can't.
Yeah,
won't
they
see
can't really see, but for the archers, I mean, they really only have one angle to shoot at, so it adds to your guys' AC, but it's not like complete cover.
Yeah, I get it. Sounds good.
Kaporan would probably just throw some heal spells at Nori just to make sure she's okay after taking that arrow.
Okay, go ahead and roll. So Saren and Bryn, you guys are not on the cart as the cart takes off.
Yeah, is with that block that Racha put in front of him, is there a way I could Misty Step 30 feet perpendicular to where the cart's going so that they would be able to see me, or no?
So like off to the side of... So the cart with them moving is 120 feet around.
I'm trying to put myself in sight line of the archers so that they can see me.
With how skinny the dock is, you're not going to be able to go 30 feet out onto anything. There's the closest pier that is like reaching out into the water right now is closer to the army guys than it is to you. So you're stuck on this portion of the pier is roughly about 25 feet in width, and between the block that they have up and the cart moving in their direction, to get like the guy who's floating up in the air, he can see everything going on.
You know what? This is all happening at the same time, isn't it?
Pretty much.
I'm gonna counterspell Racha. If I still can.
You wouldn't be seeing him casting the spell because you're behind him. So you would have no idea that he's casting.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to cast. I'm gonna cast Mirror Image on myself, and then I'm just gonna put like my hands up, like full surrender mode. I just don't want to get hit.
Okay. Bryn, you want to do anything?
We didn't get a full rest, did we?
Nope.
Never mind. I do not have Mirror Image. I just stand there and surrender.
Bryn?
We're having a fight with an internal fight here. Can I try to, I guess, dash forward or something to grab onto the cart to get on, or no?
If you want to make a try at the cart as it was leaving, go ahead and give me an acrobatics check. All right.
There you go.
I'll say, just as you see Nori take off, you get that one leap and reach out and grab the back of it, and with your strength, you're able to kind of like yank yourself up and into the back open door that you were planning on getting into anyway. And you all kind of are tarrying off as you see Saren kind of just standing there with his arms up and an arrow in his upper left chest. Alright, so Nori took off. Kaporin, I think you're the only one left with something to do if you want to do it.
I provided healing for.
Oh yes, that's right.
For her.
Okay, so that Rachel with the illusion. Okay. As Nora, you're moving towards this newly created black blob. You guys are still far enough back, roughly 100 feet or so, so you can see underneath it, and you can see the feet of the soldiers still moving in your direction. Just as you're about to keep going forward and getting ready for a charge, the ship that the army individuals are currently crossing in front of, all of a sudden the front end of it, you hear a metal grinding sound. You hear a, and then a familial loud blast noise happens as the Tidebreaker's front end ship, where it's got its name from, lets loose a monstrous explosion of blue light from the front of its ship, not only completely tearing apart the dock that it is aimed at, but also sending the army individuals flying into, well, because the wall is also torn down, into the actual town now. Bodies flying everywhere. The individual who was up in the air gets launched a good 150 feet and out of view. You guys, Nori and, well, first off, the other horse pulls back real fucking quick from this just cacophonous explosion that's happening in front of it. Nori, do you follow suit?
I mean, I'd have no choice. I'd break the carriage otherwise.
Well, with no dock about 100 feet in front of you, it's the smarter of the choices, as you all have witnessed this. This also dispels your illusion, Richa.